Have you tried to push away emotions or a certain feeling, or maybe over analysing in your head? Certainly been there the last 3 months. And yeah, welcome to today's Men's Mental Health podcast. And I want to talk about. I just walked home from football, pre-season, very fit. Um, Crazily enough, I went against my diet and got some chips on the way home, so I probably wasted a bit of that work. But just walking home, I got quite emotional and started tearing up a bit. I was listening to a song that reminded me of a really happy time a few months ago when I was dating someone really, really amazing, and it didn't work out. And yeah, the song kind of got me emotional, just kind of thinking of her. And if I'm being honest, I've kind of thought about her every single day, whilst keeping the distance and the boundaries. And I've been working through it, and it's kind of less painful than it was. But yeah, can mentally and emotionally impact you, particularly when you've got a very demanding and how you might perceive as a stressful job sometimes. And then other responsibilities on the side. And then someone rang me up about my services as well, business. So that was pattern interrupt, if anything. It was a good conversation. Anyway, I did talk to them about my emotions. And yeah, I've realised that coming to the truth of what I'm really feeling and what's going on is actually very healing and healthy. I've been through a lot of emotions in the last few months: anger, anxiety, what did I do wrong? Sadness. And at times I've been at peace and calm, which is great. But I find the most releasing, healing thing is when I'm emotional, but in a way that I'm letting go of what's stored within me. And that's happened a couple of times. And when I've been in my head trying to analyze the situation, because suddenly someone who was very close to me and showed all the signs and was really keen to see me again suddenly changed over a few days. There could have been hundreds of reasons, right? Why things don't work out. And my brain's obviously looking at it, and things going on for her as well in her own mind. But at the end of it, when I've just acknowledged that in this situation, that actually it's not anger, it's not, it's a bit frustrating that suddenly someone changed their feelings about you over a few days when you just behave the same and you're your authentic real self. Yeah, that comes up, but underneath it, when I really acknowledged it, I've been finding this hard to admit, but I'm actually quite heartbroken. And when I can acknowledge that for what it is, not what my head tries to do, it's actually the first part of healing, I believe. When you're aware and you can admit what's really going on. And I didn't want to say I was heartbroken because this is a very brief thing. I didn't know this woman for very long. And I've certainly, I've dated women a lot longer and it's not worked out either way. I wasn't interested or she wasn't interested, and I've not been that guide about it. It is what it is sometimes. But this was definitely not very long. This is quite a short period, but the feelings I felt and the attraction and feelings I developed for this woman was just wow. And she was responding in the same way for a part. And it brought, this has me being quite a lot more vulnerable today. And it brought up a lot of, there's a bit of shame, I think, And that's not a good feeling to feel. And I don't like being there because I'm not there often. There's a bit of shame around you didn't know this woman for very long, only a few months, you knew her, and you had two amazing dates, but it was like, and I've certainly been on many more dates with other women before, whether it's dating or short-term relationships. Like I said, it didn't impact me to this degree, and I had shame around the fact that I'm heartbroken over a very short-lived thing, and it's okay. Like I'm not like this all the time. Even that's me trying to get in and be defensive on myself there, but just acknowledging how I'm feeling and what's going on is really healthy, I find. So when you find yourself, your emotions going all over the place, like I've been having, it's sometimes very courageous, very vulnerable to actually acknowledge how you are feeling, because there's a part of me when I go into the part of like, it's getting a bit emotional now, but part of me that's like going into that heartbreak, feeling that heartbreak, but also really just want this woman to be happy. And I'm sad that there's maybe some wounding in her, that patterns playing out, but that's not my story anymore. But I can't do anything. I said my truth and how I felt, but it's just it puts me in a position where I feel there's a sense of the ego going, you're weak. You've got to not. You're being too soft. You're being. I don't know. It's just that's my mind, my ego coming in to protect me. But if your heart's really hurting, and you've got to acknowledge it and not run away from it. And there's going to be these guys out there like, oh no, this is not being man. It's all about power. It's not about power and control. When you can listen to your own heart and guide your own heart, those true great leaders out there, they lead with their heart. And if you don't honor and listen to your heart and what's really going on, how the hell are you meant to bring real relationships in all sense to the world? And I realized the friendships and people I do bring into my life are because I'm in my heart on myself. Not everyone's for me, like friends and networks and things like that. I'm not for everyone, but yeah, I just guess the message. Well, I know the message today is be real with what's going on with yourself. Be truthful and love yourself for it.